wish I knew.
Welcome back to My Husband is My Best Friend.
Comedian Rel speaks on Carmelo Anthony's case after he hires a new legal team.
And it's a lot of black people calling Carmelo Anthony a murderer, and he got what he deserved, and why are you saying he deserves a fair trial, a murderer, a murderer, a murderer, a murderer. My thing is this. If that's the energy you got about any of this, then you should have that same energy for that young man who was shot in the back by that gas station owner. Same energy. And I don't feel like going back and forth with people in my comments about the shit, because I'm not going to do that. I'm just not. And it's bothering me. I'm literally was just sitting in a Bible class, and I'm trying to focus, but I'm so annoyed by that. And I already explained that I'm not like going back and forth with nobody in these comments. This is sick to me. I can't understand how y'all keep calling this young man a murderer, right? And he was sitting there minding his business. And they marched over there to him, right? They beat him. Because the dude, if you know the background of those twins, they were full-blown, old school, Biff from Back to the Future. Full. And then they jumped him after he warned them. Look, I don't care what nobody say. I'm from the west side of Chicago. If I'm about to get into it with somebody and they like, fam, run up on me if you want to, or I'm going to stab you. If that's the case, most likely, just from street smarts, I'm not doing that. I got shit to lose. If somebody telling me, man, like say I'm into it with somebody and they're like, man, Rel, run up on me if you want to. Click, clack. I'm going to pop you if you run up on me. Then I make a decision at that point. And then, Texas got all these crazy laws when it comes to stand your ground and self-defense. That's exactly what that was. The biggest argument any of us have right now, it's not even about like, that he don't deserve to be punished for his reaction. Because we're not saying his reaction was correct either. But I'm saying that young man don't deserve 35 years, who was a stand-up student, who never got in trouble before, who's never been arrested, and he was scared. I'm not going to argue with y'all like that. That's crazy to me. When you defend that, and you literally, it is a young man who got chased down, and his killer got off with self-defense. I ain't never seen nobody do some self-defense shit, chasing somebody down and shooting them in the back. Trayvon Martin, come on, y'all. Y'all got all this weird energy about this shit, and you ain't saying nothing about none of these other cases. Out of here. And then people love to bring up black on black crime, and man, look at it's a much deeper conversation that obviously a lot of you crazy people without common sense, it's not mature enough, intelligent enough to have a conversation with about it. Stay the fuck off my page if you come with that energy. You weak as hell. If you feel like that, say whatever you want on your page. Straight up. And I mean that. Cool. I'm a stand-up comic. I'm an actor. I'm a writer. I'm a director. I'm an entertainer. 100%. I love entertaining people. That is what I do. I'm going to continue to do that. As much as I post about this, I'm going to post-promote my movie, and I'm going to do all that stuff. But at the same time, that don't mean I don't stand for something. Somebody had the nerve to say, well, okay, so what if that was your son that was... If my kid was bullying somebody, my child was a bully, full blown, it would break my heart to know they got for something like this. But at the same time, on some real shit, I will have to own who the my kid is. If I'm raising a, and most likely, motherfuckers that move like that is coming from that type of environment. Point blank, period. And you saw when that father did his live, how he really felt where the they got that type of shit from. It is right there, and I can't believe you people are arguing that. You mean to tell me you think that young man with no record, none of that shit, in a self-defense case deserved 35 years? And Trayvon Martin was off. That young man who took a AR-15 to a march, murdered people, and dude with the crying face got the fuck off for murder. He wasn't even charged with manslaughter. Come on, y'all. This 2026. And what me up, I expect certain things from certain communities, not from ours. And most of you motherfuckers sitting out here on some sellout shit. I'm sorry, and I'm trying to. You know, I was at church yesterday, and this is real talk. This happened at my church. It was a guy who comes sometimes he just sings. He's a great singer, wheelchair. Comes over his caretaker. A lot of us was happy to see him because we ain't seen him in a while. And when it got quiet, he just yelled, "They're killing our kids. They're killing our kids. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?" And, you know, yelling out in the middle of the service, and, you know, they escorted him out. But I remember sitting there like, yeah, the timing was a little whatever, but he ain't wrong. He ain't wrong. So I'm sorry to be this upset, but I'm going to tell y'all, so I be trying not to read these comments, and I try to block as many people as I can, but that shit it is upsetting that you think that young man deserved 35 years. You think he deserved people to take the stand and change their stories. He deserved only a couple hour deliberation to determine what happens for the rest of his life. The fuck is wrong with y'all? We're asking for a fair trial. And calling that young man a murderer, he didn't walk into that track meet and just start stabbing people. Not like that young man who walked with that fucking rifle to a protest. Come on, man. What's wrong with you people? Man, I was at the airport today dropping the kids off. Teenagers had to go back early for the summer or whatever. They came out here, the older ones. And TMZ ran up on me after I'm walking to the car, get my car, and drive back home. Hey, one of the questions he asked me was, and I don't know if you don't know if they air stuff. My whole, when you speaking positivity and being real and black and unapologetic about it, then that stuff come out sometimes. It does, whatever. Shibbity dobos. He was like, "Are you afraid of, like a lot of your fellow entertainers, of losing a check and losing deals and this and that?" Man, let me say this about me, man. At the end of the day, like, God is good. And I know, you heard me, I'm a cussing Christian is what it is. I'm very passionate. I'm a militant lover of God. I really am. I ain't no quiet. Yeah. But no, I'm not. I trust God. I do what I'm supposed to do, the right thing. I work really hard. Y'all. I work really hard. I work so hard. And I was talking to my brother today about this shit. And this is being real. And I'm sorry if I get weirdly emotional about this. We was talking about my parents. You know, I lost my father this year in January. And, you know, lost my mom in 2009. And my brother Marcus is gone. But my mother and father on some real shit, real, like if you go to the post after this, of my Father's Day post about my dad, the first picture I posted was him being a part of the local school council, him being the only man, black man, that was on that council. My father had just got laid off from Zenith. And while he was looking for jobs, he wasn't sitting around just like whatever. He's like, you know something, I get more time to do some shit in my community. In that picture, you also have Mabel Manning, who our library is named after, over there on Monroe 11, in that area, the Mabel Manning Library, who was a huge community organizer, who fought, you know, when they first was trying to, you know, do the gentrifying thing. She was fighting. She was helping residents figure out how to pay the taxes and all. Like, it was a lot going on at that time. And my dad was right next to her. And they created, you know, my parents volunteered at a social center and helped with the dances and the day camps and all this stuff, my mother and father, because they cared about their community. That's where the I come from. So, you know, we all had different wake-up calls. When I started taking these steps to you know, stop drinking and a bunch of other stuff, get in shape and all this, it wasn't about none of the, like, wasn't about, like, none of that shit that motherfuckers do it for. My shit was just about, because I wanted to be more present in my life. You know, I was going through imposter syndrome, and I didn't feel like I deserved certain things, because, you know, even though I worked my ass off, you know, I grew up in the hood for real. You know, you lost a lot of people, and then sometimes I felt like, dang, I don't know if I deserve all this shit and what's happening. And so but at some point for me, it was like, you know something, I want to honor where the fuck I came from. And it ain't just my parents, my uncles, my aunts, educators, cared about their community. You could do your research on my people. You know what I'm saying? You could do the research. That's who we are. That's what they're doing now. My uncle, my cousins. That's who they are. That's where I come from. So just because I'm into this other space and whatever this is, you know, I had to understand, man, cool, I ain't built like the rest of these niggas. And if they don't me or call me an asshole or whatever the case may be, I'm cool with that. Fine. But I ain't no sellout. And we at a crucial time with the way they playing in our faces with the voting rights. Like, they're doing this very sneaky shit. One of the things I loved about this past weekend is seeing everything that happened in Chicago with the opening of President Obama's presidential library is how irritated the up people was about how amazingly beautiful that first family is, how poised they are, how smart they are, how connected to the community they are, how that is what that was what leadership looked like. Shit. And a lot of us needed to see that shit. It's like, this is what it looks like. And so just seeing all these people move and say things and do things without common sense is crazy to me. To get mad at me and others for posting something saying that young man deserves a fair trial is f***ing crazy to me. You're crazy if you think for what happened, he deserves a rush trial, a rush verdict, Huh? Huh? Fuck out of here. I just can't, I promise you, I was trying to let it be what it is. I just ain't finna be fighting with nobody in the comments. So I'm like, let me just go live, nip this shit in the bud now. I'm gonna save this, post this on my page, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Straight up. Get out of here, man. That's America, though. No, but we gotta change it. This generation gotta stop being spoiled f***ing brats and fight for something. Like, fight for something. Everybody out now here trying to be a capitalist. Fuck all that. You can still be successful and stand for some shit. Straight up. Any of my friends that's in the game that's watching this, you can still be successful and stand on some shit. And then the weird part about it is everything has slowed the fuck down. So if you still being tapped on the shoulder, that's gonna keep you quiet. Even while everything's being restructured. I feel like God is doing that. It's the reason why independent films and stuff is, man, I'm telling y'all, it's something happening. Beautiful. What side of history you gonna stand on? Point blank, period.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Point blank, period. You can still be hilarious and all this shit. I'm watching literally tapes now of comics that submitted for my festival, and I'm enjoying that shit. All these different, some of that shit is edgy and ignorant as but that's comedy. I'm okay with that. What I'm saying is, just as much as okay to just say crazy shit and say whatever you want, I can say whatever I want to. And my say whatever I want is, I'm black first. I love my people. I grew up with people who love our people, who's been fighting for us. And it's time for us to, you know what I mean? Like, change that shit. Let's grow the up. Our generation got to stop being spoiled brats, and we got to fight. And there's different ways for all of us to fight. But I'm going to tell you what I'm not going to do is argue with you ignorant people in my comments. If you don't like what the fuck I posted, post your own shit. But I am not going to sit still and let you think it's okay for you to tell me that young man deserved 35 motherfucking years. Sorry. And if you're not smart enough to understand what I'm yelling is for a fair trial, fuck you. Because you know it wasn't. Point blank, period. Shit. That's it, man. That's it. That's it. And this is going to sit here. So, you saw my post. Stand with Carmelo Anthony. I'm glad he has a new team. I'm glad his parents reached out and asked for help. And didn't listen to that first motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good kid, and I know he is. He made a self-defense mistake. But what do you like, man? I'm from the fucking hood. Do you understand? If you think you about to get jumped, the shit you may go through your fucking mind. Some of y'all ain't never been jumped before. It's two ways to do that shit. You find the most, whatever way you gonna defend yourself is how you gonna defend yourself, or you gonna wrap the fuck up and take that shit. There's only two ways to do it. Nobody's talking about the end of it. And to be honest with you, and it's the last thing I'm going to say about that shit, we are not talking about the school officials and the fucking adults. People have been complaining about those fucking twins, and they with people and doing crazy shit. Ain't nobody do shit about it. Ain't nobody do shit about it. And I'm not saying those parents can't be in pain about losing their kid, but damn it, you also need to teach your kid to leave people the alone.
Thanks for tuning in to My Husband is My Best Friend.